On va juste prendre des verres.
Ah oui, ok.
I take a glass for you. We're gonna go that way.
Okay.
Better for the light.
Ja.
After the tasting, if you want, I will take you on that platform so you have a better view.
Yeah, okay, great.
This is where we used to do the jazz concerts.
Ah, this is here, okay.
Yeah. It used to be a concert room. Like amid the barrels, like every year we had this concert of jazz amid the Empereur wine. Just to explain a little bit about the vintage, I don't know when you started to taste the 25 vintage.
Monday?
On Monday?
On Monday.
So you already have a very precise idea?
Yes.
Kind of. So it was one of the hottest vintage overall of the past 30 or 20 years, something like that. We tend to think that the vintages like 2020, 22 and 25, there's some kind of a trilogy of what is happening with the climate right now.
Mm-hmm.
And how the vineyard is getting used to this kind of climate.
Yeah.
The big surprise for us is the Merlot, because as you may know, Château Palmer is very specific in that it has a lot of Merlot in its grape varieties. It's like 50-50 Merlot Cabernet Sauvignon, whereas usually in Le Médoc it's more like 80% Cabernet and stuff like that. The problem with the Merlot is that it's a grape variety that is very early in the cycle of the vineyard and very fragile. So it's really fragile to eat, mildew and everything. So you have a lot of chateaux who are thinking about getting rid of the Merlot and replacing it with other grape varieties that are more strong, or walking on the roots with more strong roots. We call it porte-greffe. Château Palmer, it's a bit difficult because Merlot is really a big part of the identity of the wine, so we cannot change for something else. And the main surprise in 25 is that the Merlot is doing well. We have like 55% Merlot in Château Palmer, for example, and we were thinking that the Merlot would suffer much more than that. What happened was the opposite. The Merlot did very well, and the Cabernet was a bit more like sur la réserve. But we will taste later. We go first.
Okay.
Pardon, sorry.
No,
I'm...
Ladies first.
Toujours.
Merci.
Usually it's ladies first, and then the men from the oldest to the youngest.
Yes, exactly.
from
Yeah,
the
yeah.
to the
What they used to do in the 17th century. So, but if one of you is a monk, I have to pour in first.
Yes.
Okay. I didn't know that.
Les gens du clergé sont servis en premier en général. C'est
Yeah.
une tradition.
And it's not by status, it's by age.
Yeah.
Okay.
Unless you are clerical somehow
Exactly.
related. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Which you are not. I don't know.
Apparently not. No.
So to finish with that overview of the vintage, first heat wave in June that basically blocked the growth and the maturity of the fruit. That's one of the reasons why we had for many of the vintage, for much time on the vintage, very small grapes, and we have in the end a very low yield. It's 20 hectoliters per hectare, which is very low. The last time we had something as low as that was in 18.
But then it was 11 or something, or 9.
Sorry?
The
18 was 11 hectoliters
yes,
per
yeah.
hectare, because we lost 80% of the crop over one weekend because of the mildew.
And in 18 we didn't taste this wine.
No, Alter Ego
Because
didn't
it's-
exist in 18.
Yeah.
And so not a single drop of rain for more than 7 weeks. And what made the vintage, because every year you have this kind of momentum when something happens that helps you create a wine that is exceptional or something like that, is we had very light rains at the end of August until mid-September. And that helped unblock the maturity of the grapes. And this is also one of the reasons why the wines are not too heavy on alcohol. 13 degrees, 13.5.
Oh, okay.
If we didn't have the rain, it would have been a vintage like 22, like 14.5 degrees, much more stronger. I'll stay quiet for a while, just to, if you already know about those two wines, or I can explain the difference.
Well, it is perhaps a little helpful because it's not for us; it's for people who just want to know
Then
about.
sure.
Yeah, it really.
Altrigo and Château Palmer. They both go through the same vinification process, both wines. 1 year in barrel, the other year in food. The main difference between them is a difference in the soil, in the terroir. We tend to say that Altrigo is very Margaux and Château Palmer is very Palmer. Altrigo is a soil that is typical of the Margaux appellation, with very light gravels and a lot of sand. It gives you this kind of powdery taste in your mouth. Château Palmer is much more complex because there is much more clay, and it's typical of this old Merlot planted on Cabernet soils. So, two different expressions of the same estate, but two different wines.
And basically, I think that for me, the name alter ego. This is just genius. For what
I
you
didn't
draw.
find that.
No, but I mean, there could not be any better name for what you do.
Yeah, it's before Alter Ego. Alter Ego started in '98. Before that, it was what Bordeaux calls a second vin, like a real second vin, done with younger grapes and
Réserve du Général.
La Réserve du Général, exactly. Alter Ego is the other self, the other wine of Château Palmer. But more and more, it's gaining a momentum as a great wine in itself.
Yeah.
And again, sorry if I repeat myself, but we love Alter Ego because it's really the expression of the Margaux appellation.
Yeah.
Like, it's a great wine of Margaux.
Yeah.
Château Palmer is in another galaxy in some sense. But Alter Ego was always a take on the fruit, the accessibility, the openness. Even on this vintage 25, it's already very open, very ripe, very fresh. Château Palmer can be more dark, more intellectual, more complex. I like to say that in your mind, Alter Ego works like that, and Palmer works like that. So it's just a way to put it.
Yeah. And is it correct that basically Palmer, the vineyard of Château Palmer, is divided into 3 parts? So one is attributed to Alter Ego, the other to Palmer, and the third is, it depends on the vintage.
I'll do that like they do in Barbès, in Paris when they try to sell you, steal the money from you. That's exactly that.
Okay.
That part is Alter Ego, like gravels, sand, terroir that is typical of Margaux. That part is Château Palmer. More clay, more complexity, more depth, old Merlot and Cabernet soils. It's mixed in a way, you don't have like places where we do Alter Ego and places where we do Palmer. These are mixed terroirs, and depending on the vintages, we choose to give the priority to Palmer or to Alter Ego. On 25, Alter Ego is 100% at the heart of its core terroir, and this goes there.
Okay.
But because we have very low yields, and when you have very low yields, you always tend to give the priority to the great wine, because it's more expensive.
If I may just put this for those who are interested, if we look at 25, I've already read that, but if you look at Château Cheval Blanc on the other side, I mean, there is no Petit Cheval this year. And so this is exactly what you just explained. Other great wineries do the same then.
Yes.
Well, like when they are very extremely low yields, they don't do the other wines, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it can happen. The only time it happened recently in my mind was in 18. Before that, I don't know. So just for the blend on Altrigo this year, there is no rules. It changed. Like people tend to think that you have more Merlot in Altrigo and more Cabernet. No, it's not like that. And this year, it's 40% Merlot, 54 Cabernet, and 6 Petit Verdot. The Petit Verdot is really the salt and pepper. Like it's very rustic and difficult grape variety. The Petit Verdot, which is typical of Le Médoc. But it gives you some kind of a backbone, never more than 6%. So this year, yes, more Cabernet in Altrigo, which is weird, because usually you have more Cabernet when it rains a lot.
Yeah.
24, 21. So we cannot explain everything. Just when I said that the Merlot was doing well, when everybody was scared that the Merlot would burn every year, we cannot really explain. These are old vines, like 50, 60 years old. Maybe that has an impact.
The rootstock.
Maybe that has an impact.
Do you know which rootstocks are used for the Merlot? Is it SO4 by?
For many years it was SO4. Now we are doing some research and development with the 110 Richter and rootstock that are more, from Spain and Italy, or used to great temperatures. So we have a lot of experimentation that are being done at some particular place on the estate. But we did. Usually for nos primeurs we have a newspaper with all the information about the vintage, and this year, instead of doing articles about food and wine and everything, we did an article about Merlot and what is the future for the Merlot.
Fantastic.
And an article about the roots, the portographe, like what is cooking right now, because we tend to think that the future of the Merlot and the vision we have with the portographe will define if we are able to survive for the next 50 years and still do wine here. So I will send it to you.
Thank you.
We're supposed to have it by Friday. So, but we did some very strong research anyway.
Great.
Or maybe the biodynamics, or maybe the way we work with the soil and everything. So we don't have the answer for that.
But is this not one aspect about myths? You just can't explain anything. It's.
Yeah, but you have people who want explanations so
Yeah,
much.
Sure.
But they are not doctors in philosophy. They want explanations.
Yeah, but in the end, who understands life? Thank you.
Yeah, but if we say that too much, it's a mix of myth and magic, people are like, come on.
Yeah.
But there's something we cannot really explain.
Yeah. I feel very comfortable with that, actually.
Me too. I work in the communication, So Château Palmer.
Yes.
55 Merlot, so more Merlot, 41 Cabernet, and 4 Petit Verdot.
The Petit Verdot seems to really have performed well this vintage, right? Because we have other producers who told us that surprisingly they increased their fraction of Petit Verdot because it was just so good.
Yeah, okay.
It's interesting.
It's weird. It's a really weird variety. You have some estates around Pessac where I live that they are doing 100% Petit Verdot wines. It's so weird. When it's 100%, it's like it takes you back in time. Like it's real wines from the last century. It's really très sauvage, quoi, très rustique, very rustic. I don't know if it performed differently from 22 or 23. I don't know that.
And for instance, already 2024 was so beautiful at Palmer. There's another depth right now. And 25, wow.
24 was a very, very difficult vintage.
Yeah, but you did very well.
We did well, some other did well, but everybody scared it was going to be too skinny, too diluted and everything, but 25 is like the antithesis, like it's when you start a Premier campaign with a vintage like that, you come walking in the morning with a smile on your face, you know, like it's going to be easy, I think. It's always a pleasure to talk about the wine and the estate and everything, but it really speaks for itself. Like it's the context is complicated, but there are going to be great wines in Bordeaux on both banks, I think, this year.
This is iconic. This will be a legend.
I could not compare it to another one, you know. Or people always tend to ask, where would you put it? Is it similar to another vintage? I don't know. But what I can tell you is, since I arrived 7 years ago, it's probably one of the vintages people are the more are the proudest about. You know, like
apparently there's nothing you could improve. I mean, you can always do things differently, but there's a point where you can't improve what you have. I mean, this is where we can say it's a present of nature, whatever. It's a wonder. This is a. I mean, I've been coming here for 21 years and tasting the wines, and it has never affected me so much. So.
Thank you so much. Yeah, 80 people, but you have wineries when you are like more than 100 people, but what struck me when I thought about it recently is that when I arrived 7 years ago, there were 50 people. And 5 years before that, there were like 35 people. So in 15 to 20 years, Château Palmer really changed from a very, to say that, something that's very familial, family-run business, like to something that is way more ambitious. But we had to do that because it's about the biodynamic. If you want to be, I'm going to say it in French first. Si vous voulez moins intervenir dans vos vignes, il faut être plus nombreux à les surveiller. So if you want to intervenir, j'ai pas le mot.
Intervene.
If you want less intervene in the vineyard, you have to have way more people taking care of the vineyard in the first place. So out of 80 people at Château Palmer, you must have like 35 people working full time in the vineyard to just monitor it, take care of it, and so that's a big change.
You have the Latin word for curare, which means that you are looking after things, and it's a very
the care,
the care.
Curating,
we care about the vineyard, we care about the wine, we care about people, we care about ourselves, we care a lot.
And basically, it is at least what I understand from just when we arrived here, what you said. It's somehow an integral approach, or I mean, it's basically everything with everything.
It's holistic.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't just consider a vineyard as an entity that is supposed to produce grapes. You know, and that's the beauty of biodynamics. There is the vine. Next to the vine, there is the forest that has a role on this. Then the river, then the animals, then the people, then the stones, then the trees, then the birds, everything. So it's an ecosystem. We discussed this a few minutes ago, but Château Palmer more and more is turning away from being a Grand Cru classé, and more Château Palmer is becoming an ecosystem. And it will grow again in the next year, not only to care about its terroir, but to care about its territory, you know, like the appellation of Margaux, the cities around Bordeaux and everything. So that's the vision you mentioned. What is your vision for the next years? Our main vision is to keep doing this kind of wines in the future, if we can. and to expand and take care of the terroir and the territory for as long as we can, because we just, we will die at some point and the next generation will take over. So
this is a very interesting aspect, because in the end, I mean, the wines, or those two wines, well, especially Château Palmer, the wine will survive us.
Exactly.
Yeah. This is not our dimension.
No, but this wine, you will be supposed to taste it correctly 15 years from now, in 2040. But this kind of wines, and 22 as well, this kind of vintages, it's 40 years from now. Sometimes I go to a tasting in Switzerland and I talk to people who are already like 70 years old, and it's like, for the 22, and like, when will I be able to open it? I said, you will not be able to open it. Your children will be able to open it. But that was always the case with Bordeaux.
Yeah, exactly.
My parents used to buy Chateau Omar Buzet, when we were kids. But yeah, these wines are built to travel through time.
Yeah. On the other hand, which is now a little complicated, I mean, you can drink the 22. I mean, it's not that you cannot drink it.
No, you can.
Yeah, and so this is.
But you're missing something.
Yeah, yeah. But in the end, if you're missing it anyway, I mean, and let's assume you're 75, and so you cannot come up or compete with the longevity of the wine. Then you might just as well take the decision. Okay, I drink it earlier. Now, 10 or 15 years ago, it would not have made too much sense. But now you can do it, and I think this is fascinating because. Well, yes, you don't. If you don't live up to the optimal age, you can still have great joy with it. That's great.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of it. If you buy a case of, I don't know, like 6 bottles of 22, you open one after 2 years, the other one after 7 years. My only fear is, I think someday some crazy guy from a tech company in California will invent some kind of a cellar that accelerate, the aging of the wines.
Definitely, that will happen.
And it will not make sense anymore.
Yeah, I mean, it's always what you can.
It will happen.
Yeah, what you can think will happen. Yeah. I mean, and definitely will happen. Yes. Yeah.
Flying cars. It will happen.
Wow.
I give you my card. That's the
Thanks a lot.
the summer.
Oh.
Oh yeah, so that's.
I give you the winter because I love the grey.
Very nice. Yes.
Noble.
If you have any questions.
Thank you.
Well, first of all, thank you very much for this
pleasure.
exceptional tasting.
My pleasure. Really.
Thanks a lot.